Welcome to the Authority File, the podcast where you'll hear conversations with academic librarians, technologists, researchers, and authors whose work is laying the foundation for higher education's future. I'm Bill Mickey, your host and the editorial director at Choice. In this four-part series, which is brought to you with support from Gale, I'm excited to be joined by Barbie Keiser, president of Barbie Keiser, Inc. Barbie is an information resources management consultant and a longtime industry watcher, and for more than 30 years, she's helped library leaders maximize the latest developments in information products and services. Barbie joins us to discuss the latest developments in scholarly communications. There are a variety of market forces that are keeping the field in a state of perpetual change. New tech and new policies are affecting every stage of the scholarly communications lifecycle, from the very beginnings of a research project all the way through to its publication and use by others. In this second episode of our series with Barbie, we discuss the broader market forces impacting scholarly communications, the way platform vendors, academic publishers, and other educational tech companies have adapted, and how authorship and research practices are evolving. I'd like to kind of look at the market forces that are kind of influencing a lot of what you've been talking about so far. And so I'm wondering what you might consider to be the broader market forces that have, been having an effect on these changes in scholarly communication as we've been discussing.
As I said, I started out in competitive intelligence. So in competitive intelligence, we conduct pestle analyses, looking at the political, economic, social, technological, and legal and ecological
Wow.
issues that, yeah, I know,
I haven't heard of
pestle.
that term before. That's
It
cool.
used to be called pest, and then it was steep, and we just keep adding
Right.
letters. So now it's a pestle. Um, so all of that is having an impact on our industry. I take that same approach to the scholarly communication field.
Hmm.
Certainly, there's the high cost of publications and databases, and I don't need to tell any librarian about that. But how we hear about scholarly works has shifted too, in part due to changes in and technological innovations. We are used to going to social media for all sorts of personal reasons and finding news and reviews of products. So I think the list is endless. We need to take that approach and apply it to academic research. For a while, we turned to specific communities, such as listservs, where the discussion was about a particular subject or a specialty. And later, we might have shifted to research communities such as ResearchGate or Faculty of 1,000. And now the question is whether we're on the right social media influencer tracker path. Do those influencers alert us when new research reports or scientific studies are out? And then there are all these tools that aggregate those social media posts from multiple platforms to make life easier for us.
Hmm. Excellent. So I'm wondering if we look at the vendors, the platform vendors, academic publishers, and other educational tech companies, and how they've been adjusting their strategies for scholarly communication support. For example, like a lot of big publishers have moved into, or bought their way into research workflow solutions and data. For example, what are your observations here?
I think both the content and the display of vendor platforms have shifted.
Hmm.
And it's not unreasonable. We see the same thing going on in the web field, in website design as well.
Right.
I think individual publishers began with their own journals, so everything came into one basket, and later they divided the material by subject, aggregating content through licensing agreements to supplement where their holdings were not so robust. And then they added additional formats such as ebooks or videos. I think about Sage and how they added reference books and videos and cases and research methods to the one platform. So each vendor has enhanced its offerings by including more access points, more options for organizing the search results. The citation management tools have exploded, so much so that we probably don't know who owns what now.
Hmm.
And sometimes through internal innovation, sometimes it's just copying others, sometimes it's through acquisition. But many of the traditional database vendors that sold their wares to libraries had other tools for research that were not necessarily under the same umbrella. For example, the library subscribed to ProQuest databases for research discovery, a traditional aspect of librarianship. Today, ProQuest Pivot supports scholars by identifying funding opportunities. It also helps the institution maintain researcher profiles and interests. It feeds the institutional research information management system. And then I think about the analytics side. I'm going to use a public library sort of example, but Gale Analytics uses Experian's Mosaic USA profiles
Right.
to develop personae to help libraries create dashboards about to understand their user interests in greater detail and help them market to those. And I suspect that that type of analysis will be developed by some vendor, somebody. So we can analyze the research body at a university with the same ease without having to learn how to design visualization tools and business dashboards and export and import and manipulate data. So there's a huge opportunity for vendors to help libraries identify and explain what they contribute to
Mhm.
the institutional research effort.
Yeah, yeah, that's good you brought that up. There's quite a cottage industry that's popped up around data viz and those types of things. So that's a good point. Like seems like there's a big opportunity for somebody to move in and just
Yeah.
kind of provide that,
It's just waiting for them. And I'm sure that they're all working on this.
Hmm.
But I can give you some examples where I've talked to vendors who don't realize the market for their tools when they've done this. And I say, but there are X number of libraries around the world,
Yeah.
and you could be marketing this is perfect for them to build their communities. And they say, there was one vendor who told me, oh, my mother's a librarian. I should really ask her. So that was the only one who took me up on the offer.
Huh, okay.
But there you go.
Uh, yeah. So, you talked a little bit about authorship and research, and let's look at how that's evolving as well. And I'm thinking of like, new peer review models, new distribution models, as you mentioned, new methods of collaboration. What are you seeing there?
Well, I used to think, or I thought I knew, the seminal journals for each subject area. And now there are just
Right.
so many, I can't keep track of it. Researchers are facing this as well, and I'm pretty sure that they haven't updated their modes of working. So I'm pretty sure that what they learned when they were coming up in the world and beginning their career is what they're using now, and we've
Yeah.
got to get them out of that habit. So we librarians know how to investigate topic by topic the shifts in publishing. Certainly, open access journals, along with the tools that are now available to help us open works that are situated behind a paywall, and the open peer review startups that we've witnessed over the past few years are really gaining traction. So, librarians continue to help researchers determine where to publish, and many of us as librarians have served as initial draft editors. We can also help researchers by explaining why they need to have two abstracts created at the outset, one targeted to the academic audience and the other in plain language for mass communication. We help authors select more appropriate keywords based on where they hope to publish, and some of the AI tools are really helpful in that area. And we can use some of the tools available to recommend reviewers for those submissions. On the backside, post production, we need to manage that as well. So, post publication, we want to create press releases in plain language and suggest or even manage the placement. We can make material more accessible through infographics, through animation. Cyane is one that I know has had some success in animating very dense scientific works
Hmm.
and making them understandable. There's Cadmore Media that does video for that purpose. And we can make the researcher's life easy if we help them deal with IP rights, because nobody likes to deal with that.
Right.
So, what can they make available to whom and when can we? The final thing I think where AI tools are enormously helpful is going to be to craft the social media community posts for the work that's been created.
Hmm. You just heard from Barbie Keiser. Barbie is president of Barbie Keiser Inc. and an information resources management consultant. Join us next week as we dig into how the evolution of scholarly communications has opened up new opportunities for libraries, including how policies and roles are being reorganized for better integration into the ScholComm workflow. We also look at how impact measurement and research assessment are shifting. This 4-part series is brought to you with support from Gale. As always, underwriting opportunities for the Authority File podcast are directed by Choice's advertising manager, Pam Marino, and all of our episodes are produced and edited by Choice's digital media producer, Sabrina Kofer, with support from digital media assistant Ashley Roy. That's all for this week. Thanks for joining us.